Dave's not here. Yeah, Ashley, I see that. Yeah, I know everybody's waiting, and I waited until it was 8 o'clock. It was 7:59 by my clock, and then I hit it at 8. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ashley and Deborah. I see you two. Hello. And to the one other person watching, hello. And I have an Aria in heat, so she is going to be making regular visits to my desk because that's where she's been hanging out now, is on my desk when she's in heat. So probably get to see a lot of her. Hello, Crafting with V. There's a new name I haven't seen in here before. She wants to rub on every wire and cable and everything in sight. And she's been knocking my mic off the desk and all day long, just being a complete pain. Which is why I have my mouse cord running over the top of my little light fixture up here so that she can't pull my mouse off the desk. So it's been a long week, getting ready to start into a new month tomorrow, which means a lot more work for me. Good Lord, y'all. So it's going to be a busy time now because now I got to start making phone calls again and calling all my customers, getting them all set up for their service, and then going out and doing the service too, and coming home and falling asleep at my desk at 6 o'clock. It seems to be the status quo here lately. I am Deborah. I am got 2, 4, 6, and then this one here left, and I'll be a quarter of the way done. Only took me February, March, April, 3 months to get a quarter of the way done. So, it's on track to be a year total working on it to get it finished. But I've already put quite a bit of time into it already because of all the other times I've started and had to restart. Something. Hello, Bev T. I know it's not a race, but still, I want to get it done, I've had it for so long, and it's just been taking up space, and it takes up a lot of space. I just want to get it done. So we got 9 people in here. I'll wait till a few more get in. Got big news. Some of y'all already know this. Like, I think half of y'all here in the chat already know this because I've already shown it to you. And, but I'm kind of excited about it. And if everybody has not already seen, oh, we lost one. There was 9, now there's 8. If everybody has not already seen, hey, Dreamer, I have a Patreon now. There's only 2 levels of it, $5 and $10. You don't really get much extra for the $10 right now. That is coming down the pike when I have more things to offer. And I can work in more time to do extra things. Right now, you can just choose to support me at 5 or 10. And what you get for that is $5 will have one little area on the end of my videos that will show them, and then the other will have another area for the $10 one. So that way you can just kind of special recognition if you paid a little extra. But right now, and all anybody's going to get at my Patreon is some extra video content. I'm going to start trying to do once a week. Maybe uploading something else that I do besides diamond painting. And that's what my Patreon is. It's called Dave Does Stuff, which means stuff other than diamond painting. Maybe I don't know, record a day at work or something. I'll find other things to record other than the diamond painting stuff. And you can see what I do outside of this diamond painting, which lately has been not much, but I'm going to start diversifying my crafts again and finding other things to do along the way. And then let me post the link for the Patreon is down in the description. However, I have it right here. There is the links to my Patreon. And now the next big announcement, piece of news, whatever, is actually brand new today. I sat up last night and most of the day today getting it all set up and ready. I was hoping to have it done by the time I go live, and I did. I finished it about an hour ago finally, and I got it all done and prettied up and polished and ready to go. And that announcement is that I now have merch. Yes, I have merch, y'all. That's a nice selection of items that I think most people would like, that people can use. Pretty nice stuff. I kind of did it with Teespring. So it's not Teespring anymore. It's just Spring. And I partnered with them, and I created some images. I got some Photoshop work done so that I would have stuff to put on the merch. And I went through and found all the objects I think people would like, and there's still a lot more that I haven't added yet, but maybe I'll add them, maybe not. Right now I've got 2 lines of product. One line is a picture of Hank. It's the picture from the Hank Custom, and it's got his name done in a little diamond bling effect at the bottom of his picture, and then it's got my logo at the top. And I've got that on a lot of items, and then I've got my main YouTube logo on a lot of items, and then I've also got another one that's kind of a funny little joke. It just says I heart DP. Then in parentheses underneath in small letters it says diamond painting, of course. So it's kind of funny to have these big letters on your back when you're walking around saying I heart DP. But we made sure we put the little, of course, diamond painting, of course, at the bottom to make sure that nobody takes that out of context. So there is the link to my merch store, and it's also in my description. I think everybody will find something interesting there. Hi, Arya. Bye, Arya. I don't think I have any of this color. Oh, yes, I do. I was working on this the other night, and I finally had to put it down, and I kind of forgot where I'd left off. I haven't worked on it at all today or yesterday. Well, I may have worked on it some yesterday. No, worked on it Friday night. I went to work yesterday, and then I came home. Then I fell asleep for a little bit. And then I started working on my merch store. So all of that coincides together with the 4th anniversary of my channel. It's today's the 30th, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. May the 4th be with you on Thursday, by the way, is also the 4th anniversary of my channel. So I decided to do all of this in celebration of the 4th anniversary, and I'm going to cap it all off with a 24-hour live starting on Saturday afternoon at noon Central Time until noon Central Time on Sunday. That is highly contingent on whether or not my electric stays on and my internet still works as of Saturday into Sunday. Right now, everything is a little bit behind. I'm still trying to get caught up, and there is light at the end of the tunnel with that, but it's not going to happen for around another month or so until it's all really caught up and I can start getting everything on a regular schedule with payments and everything. So hopefully the electric company will work with me this week and allow me to keep my electric on until whenever. Maybe I'll just call and make a payment arrangement that I may or may not be able to keep. Don't you love when you have to do that in life? It's like, okay, yeah, I'll make that payment arrangement. Yeah, I'll pay that on such and such date. Knowing full well you probably won't have the money that day. Do it just to keep the lights on. Wow, we still only got 8 in here. 9 now. Okay. 9 of y'all and 3 likes. Really? Y'all don't like me no more. So yeah, this week was a busy week. I had a lot of roach cleanouts this week. Those are always fun. Go into the house and the roaches are crawling everywhere, in the cabinets, under the edge of the counters, behind the refrigerator. And you got to get down in there among them to be able to put the bait out. And then you spend the rest of the day feeling like something's crawling on you. Oh, that's so fun. And that's all you can. Roaches have the worst smell. And once you have been in the house with them for that long, trying to get them, take care of them, you just get used to smelling them. And then when you get out of there for the rest of the day, that's all you can smell. It just like stays in your nose all day, like that smell of those roaches. I could still smell them when I got home. I thought maybe it was on my clothes, so I changed clothes, got out of those, took a shower. Nope. Still smelt the roaches. But the plus side is all 3 of those are ones that I've already been to last month, in March. And I had done an initial treatment on all 3. And going back this time, I found very few living adults, just babies. So that meant that I've killed off the adults, and all that's got left is the egg sacs that are hatching. As the babies are coming out, they're going to go look for something to eat, and they're going to find my bait, and they're going to eat it, and they're going to die. And I won't have to worry about roaches in those houses any longer. So I'm doing a good job. This month, I actually go back to some of them that I did in February, at the end of February. So I've only got just this one more month of meeting new customers that I haven't met yet. And then I go back into a cycle of the ones that I did in March, and then so they're on a 3-month schedule. Most of them are. And since I only did a little bit of time on my route in February, I didn't get to meet all of my February customers. So I've got a bunch of those that I get to meet this month. They're not impossible, Dreamer. Like I said, the 3 houses I went to this week, all 3 of them were ones I went to in March, and I just put a lot of. We have this bait that comes in like a syringe that looks like peanut butter. It's called Vendetta, and Vendetta is some good stuff. Roaches love it. You just kind of put it all over the place inside the cabinets, where you can't see it as a person and wouldn't get into it, but where the roaches would go. You put it in there and they'll eat it. And not only will it kill them, it's a slow acting poison. So they take it back to the nest and they feed it to the others, and it kills the others too. So it kills the nest in the process of, when you put it out there and they eat it. So, like I said, I went back this time and there were very, very few living adults anywhere, and it was all just little baby ones. And I was able to put some more bait down to get rid of them. So when I go back next month should just be a final spray, and they should be roach free. Hello, Michelle. All right, we're up to 12 in here now. Cool. So for those that weren't here when I made the announcements, if you scroll up in chat just a bit, you should be able to see 2 links there. One of those is to my Patreon. The other is to my merch. Yes, I have merch now. Decided it was time. Lots of Hank merch. Everything from stickers to t-shirts to tumblers, stainless steel water bottles, tote bags. A little bit of everything. Cell phone cases, iPhone cases. Lots of iPhone cases. 3 different kinds. I missed your birthday. I thought I wished you a happy birthday. I could swear I typed you happy birthday on Facebook. But if I didn't, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to miss it. I knew about it that day. I remember it because I knew I was logging in to do it. Now, I may have gotten sidetracked with something and totally missed doing it. But if I did, I apologize. But if not, happy birthday. Belated birthday. Yeah, I remember that day because I remember I was like, it's Michelle's birthday. I got to go say happy birthday to her. And I know I logged on the internet for it. And I must have gotten sidetracked with something and totally right over my head. That happens to me a lot. Hi, Hank. Really? No, 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 not right now. I have new neighbors upstairs. Yeah, they seem pretty cool. Some younger guys, some younger people. I guess there's a girl there too. I know there's a guy because I met his mom. She was helping him move in when I got home from work, and she was like, "Hi, I'm just helping my son move in upstairs from you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, good to meet you." I'm like, "I'm Dave. You probably won't see much of me." Yeah, Hank is sitting here being spoiled. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? He's trying to get away from Arya. That's what he's trying to do. She's driving him nuts too. She's driving him nuts. She's driving me nuts. I don't think I have very many of those. Is that what you're trying to do, Hank? You trying to get rid of? You trying to get away from Arya? You ain't getting too far because here she comes. And there she goes. They're using my desk as a highway now to get around. Scotty Dog, he tries. That's a new name in here too. Scotty Dog. Hello, welcome to my live. Hank tries. He really does. Most of the time, he's adorable and cute and funny. Sometimes he's just a pain too. Like when he gets under my desk, I get home and he wants to get my attention. So he gets underneath my desk when I'm trying to watch YouTube or I'm trying to work on something or sit here and diamond paint. And he decides he wants to roll around under my desk on his back and snag my socks with his claws and then get his claws hung up in my sock. And then when he does that, then he gets upset about it and then he starts biting at the feet and he's a pain. Yeah. Yeah, you are. Looks like Arya is finally going to calm down up there in the top of the cat tree. Which I will take it. Oh, Lord, y'all. I shouldn't be this tired. Oh, I didn't put those back in them. I've been doing that a lot lately. Forgetting to dump the drills back before getting the next color out. Everybody says hi, Hank. They all say hi, Hank. He doesn't care. He's just going to sit there. And I know he don't want nothing because he just got TREATSs a little bit early or a little bit late tonight. So I know he don't want nothing yet. He just wants attention. Isn't that it? That's all you want. You just want attention. So I got some rocks tumbling finally for the first time in forever. Whenever I go to somebody's house and I spray the outside, I find rocks like in their driveways and their flower beds. You know, they get those river rocks brought in and dumped in. And I find really pretty jaspers and quartzes and even a couple of small agate pieces. And so I've been kind of collecting them as I go and bringing them home and dumping them in a little bin, and finally decided I was going to sit here one night and break up the bigger ones into smaller pieces. And I got to looking and realized I wasn't as out of grit as I thought I was. I'm out of stage 3 and I'm out of I've got plenty of stage 4, but I'm almost out of stage 2. So I ordered some stage 2 and some stage 3 the other day, and that'll be here before I need either one of them again. I've just got 2 barrels one of them just before I went live, I was changing a barrel over from stage 1 to stage 2. I found this one in somebody's driveway. It's like it's already polished. I mean, it looks like it's really, I mean, you really can't see it on camera, but it's got a nice shine to it already. But it was in somebody's driveway, of all places. Hank. You just gonna sit there and be the star of the show tonight? Is that it? You might as well look up at the camera. Here, look up here. Look up there. There you go. He is so not interested. He doesn't really care. What? I'm drinking Mountain Dew. Can I do that? Am I allowed to do that? Oh, Sir Hank. You gonna lay down and go sleep right there? Are you really? Yeah. Oh, yep. That's what he's gonna do. And he's gonna lay his tail right in the sticky spot, of course. Hank, come on now, really? Awesome. Ashley, which Enamorte is it? Oh, Hank, really? Okay, I can't move the rest of it, but I'll move the tip of the tail around a little bit. Oh, Lord. He is going to sleep over here. Ow! Jesus. That hurt. Excuse me, Hank. Hey. Excuse me. Excuse me. He really got me right in between the fingers. That's right, Bev T. It ain't me. I ain't the boss here. It's Hank who decides. You might as well push this down. See, there he is. Really? This is what we're doing now. You better keep them claws to yourself, boy. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, get up here in the back of the chair. Oh, get up there. There you go. There. He's sleeping on the back of the chair now. Man, he got me good too, right in between the fingers. I mean, he didn't draw blood, but he got me just enough to know. I think it's just because it's so sensitive there anyway, that the slightest little prick of the skin feels like somebody just stabbed you. And now I got to sit here and pick hair out of the canvas. Yeah, he didn't leave much. His tail ain't the sheddy spot. It's the rest of him. Call 211. I don't know if we have a 211 here. But I'll check it out. Take some kratom real quick. It's okay. I have my Archer's Arch tray sitting like right up here. And Aria has been back and forth on the desk like all day because she's in heat. And she knocked it off the desk and it had a bunch of trash drills in it. So it's not a huge loss, but it's just more drills in the carpet. I think I would love to be around after I move out of this place eventually one day, maybe. I would love to be around when they actually pull this carpet out because the carpet's going to be replaced when I move out anyway. I knew that. We knew that the day we moved in because we had to do a checklist We had to walk through and do an inspection checklist and hand it back to the landlord with all of the things that we found wrong with the apartment when we moved in. And the carpet was one of them. It had a big hole in the carpet, like right here where my chair is at now. And there was some holes in the one bedroom in the carpet. So we told the landlord about it. We told, her name's Ashley. She's our apartment manager. She's really nice. We went and told her about it when we handed in the card and explained it to her. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to get the carpet replaced before y'all moved in, so it won't be off of your deposit when you move out. So you won't have to worry about that. The carpet's going to get replaced after you move out." We're like, "Cool." I can just destroy the carpet if I want to, and that's what I've been doing. Instead of taking my rocks outside to break the rocks outside, I've got my handy dandy rock hammer right here, and I just put them down here on the floor and crush rock right here in my living room. So when they go to take this carpet out, and they're going to take it out of here and roll it up, maybe even like have it unrolled, and I just want to see the number of drills that end up outside in the parking lot. Not to mention that little hole that I was talking about in the carpet right under my chair. Mr. Hank here, Mr. Hank likes to mark his territory in that spot. I will clean it, clean it, clean it, and clean it, get all of it out of there, and then as soon as I do, within an hour, he's done peed right back in that spot again. I just can't stop him. So I've got to get one of those plastic floor mats that like you have in offices. I've got to get one of those and put it here so my chair will sit on it and it'll cover that hole, and then I don't have to worry about Hank peeing in it no more. Then if he does pee, it'll just pee on that mat, and then I can just wipe it up. And then it won't be soaked into the carpet and smelling all the time. I swear, I would much rather live in a house full of dogs that have peed in the carpet versus cats. Cat pee stinks. I don't know why. So I hope we have a good turnout next weekend, y'all. I really do. I mean, I know that nobody else is going to be able to sit up 24 hours with me. But I'm hoping at least to have a decent turnout of people throughout the 24 hours to stop in and say hi and visit with me for a while. I don't know that I'm going to be super entertaining. I really don't know that I am, because it's going to be hard for me to find things to talk about for 24 hours. So I'm going to be relying heavily on the chat, keeping conversation going. Oh, your cats have their fur in your red wax. Yes. Scotty Dar, I'll tell you a story about Hank. When I first got him in 2019, I was living in North Dakota, and I had my desk was like up against the wall, and I had my desk all nicely arranged, and I have a couple of rolls of the double-sided adhesive that just like this, and one of them's like a 5 centimeter roll or a 3 centimeter roll. I can't tell which. You can't remember which. And then the other one is like a 1 centimeter roll. And I had them sitting there on the desk, laying on top of each other. And anytime I get a new kit, I'd take the little pad of wax out and I'd stick it in the hole in the center of that roll. Well, Hank liked to go in there, and he would like to get his claw in it and pull it out of there and then chew on it. And then it would just go missing. Like I would come home and there would be no wax in there at all. It would be missing. So I was sweeping the floor one day, and I happened to look down at the door threshold for the entrance door to my apartment, and the threshold stuck up off the floor about that far. And there was like a little gap underneath of it. And I got down there and looked, and sure enough, I found all kinds of stuff that I had been missing. Hank had done stuffed it all down there, chewed up pads of wax, things that had been on my desk that I needed to keep. They were missing, like diamond painting tips, everything. Just he knocked them off the desk and then carried them over there and stuffed them underneath the door threshold. Put a cup of white vinegar and a cup of water in a spray bottle. Make sure you spray enough to get the mat under the carpet. Yeah, I will see. What I normally use is, I think the vinegar and water will be cheaper, but I normally use this, and it works really, really well. But you can see it's empty. Well, just about empty, because Mr. Pissy Pants over here see, Aria, man, I like Aria. She's like all prim and proper. She's just like, she will make sure she goes to that litter box. And as soon as she gets done at that litter box, she climbs right up in that cat tree or wherever she's at. And she plops down and she just does an entire grooming session. She cleans everything. Hank, he don't care. He hops in the litter box. He don't even care to bury it. Reminds me, I gotta clean the litter box out. They all go in a closet now. I've got what's supposed to be the coat closet that's just here off the living room is all DP and crafting stuff in there. And when I work on a model, like I have to get everything done that I want to get done kind of early, because I can't leave anything out overnight to dry, because Hank and Aria would ruin it if I did. So I have to finish up whatever I'm doing early enough that it'll be dry before I go to bed, so that I can put it back in the box for the night. It's kind of a pain to have to put everything away every time. Yeah, I can't leave much of anything around. See this rock sitting here? There was another one kind of sitting there with it that was really cool. It's down here on the floor now beside the desk. That is a really cool rock. See how it's like it's almost polished already? I picked that up out of a driveway. It was in the same driveway as that one. And that's a piece of it's like black and gray. Well, it's actually chert, but chert, jasper, and flint are all pretty much the same thing. They're all the same family of what's it called? The name will come to me. Chalcedony. They're all in the same family of chalcedony. So jasper, chert, and flint. And that's actually it's probably a piece of chert, but it's getting closer to flint, but it's got a lot of cracks and holes in it. So it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to pull the Dremel out and kind of grind that down some to get some of them cracks and stuff out before I tumble it. Scotty Dog, the canvas I am working on right now is Magical Castle by DAC. Let me Hold on just a minute here. I've got it on my phone here. Gallery. SD card. It's on here somewheres. Pictures. No. Messenger. Nope. Facebook. Nope. Recent. Maybe it's under recent. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. It's odd. I had it on my phone. It's a picture of the Disney castle at night, and this is all water here. That's the front main entrance. There's two Mickey statues there and there, and there's the two front towers right there, and there's a wall right here that's got like little balls on top of it, in front of it. I know where I'll find it. It'll be in there. Media files and links. I think I'm going to start using StreamYard. There it is. It's going to be that. It won't be as blown out, but yeah. Yes, this one here, Scotty Dog, is 165 by 100. Hey, Terry, Koala Crafts. It's 165 by 100. It is 100 colors. I got it from Royal Diamond Painting. I got it from Royal Diamond Painting back in 2019. Well, February 2020. I unboxed it. You can actually go back in my channel and watch the video of me unboxing this massive thing. And I started on it shortly afterwards, started discovering big gapping problems with the drills. And it's square. So I contacted Royal and I said, look, I said, these things are, I took some pictures of it and said, these drills are gapping. I said, the spaces for the drills are much bigger than what the drills are. Are you sure that you didn't send me a canvas for rounds and send me square drills? And of course, at that point in time, they were using a Chinese supplier. So you ordered from them and it came from China. And she says, I wouldn't think that would have happened, but I'll check. She says, I can replace all the drills for you. And I'm like, okay, that'll work. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. So then she messages me back the next day and says, you know what? We found out there's a misprint on the canvas. We're going to replace the entire kit. Now, the first time it came overnight from China, right at the peak of when China was starting to really get hit hard with COVID, right at the beginning of it in February 2020. It came overnight from Wuhan, China. So needless to say, I ended up getting COVID from this thing because back then they said, oh, COVID don't travel and don't live on surfaces for very long. And then they came out later and said, yeah, it does. I said, yeah, I know it does. I got COVID from it. In fact, Amber and I both ended up getting COVID from it. So the next one came overnight from China again, very quickly, got it, opened it up, Started working on it. Amber didn't like it no more. She goes, I am not going to work on it no more. There's just something wrong with that thing. I don't like the way the drills are going together on it. I don't want to work on it no more. Well, I had finished about a 25 by 25 section here, like right there. And then we'd finished like right up to here, like all of that all the way across. And then there was like another 25 by 25 section on the other side done. And I sat down again back in December when I came back to YouTube for my break after I broke up with Amber. And I noticed that there was something wrong with the drills. It's like they were popping. I found all kinds of popping drills. So I kind of thought, here I am 3 years after buying this thing. I've had to restart it once already. You know, I've actually, that was the second restart on it. So, or the second start. I contacted Royal and I'm like, look, I know it's been 3 years since I bought this thing. You don't even offer it on your site anymore, but I've got this much done. I've got popping drills everywhere. And she says, I stopped using that supplier a long time ago because of that issue, because they just had quality problems. So I now operate out of my own shop here in Texas. I put the, you know, she puts the canvas and the drills all together. She bags the drills up however you need or whatever. She goes, I will replace the entire set of drills for you. And sure enough, she did. The drills came in February. I peeled all of everything that I had done on here. I peeled it off the canvas and restarted again. So this is what I've gotten done. I've gotten, this is 10, 20, 30. This is 40 tall from the bottom up. And I've got 50 or 100 wide almost done. So I've almost got a quarter of it done. Hey, Nix, thank you. Thank you. This was a BFF diamond painting pens. It's one of the diamond cast pens with the diamond. You can see the diamond dust in it. So that's the story behind the Magical Castle, and that's kind of the reason why, even though it's not a race, I'm just in a hurry to get it done because I've been working on it. I've had the thing for so long. It's been taking up space. A 100 by 165 diamond painting is really hard to store. I can't store it on a hanger like I do all my other diamond paintings. As soon as I get diamond paintings, I take them out of the box, I open them up, I flatten them down, I hang them with binder clips on wire hangers, and they hang in the closet like clothes. I can't do that with this one. In some places it did, Scotty Dog, but the places that it did, I was able to, because I always keep a roll of the double-sided adhesive around. I always keep a roll of it around. I bought some on AliExpress. So I'm able to repair it if I need to. Because it does peel some of the adhesive off, but it's not real hard to replace it. And another way to do that, even on double-sided adhesive canvases, you can always go to Hobby Lobby and buy that tube of the Diamond Dots glue that they have in the Diamond Dots section, and just take a little small, regular, you know, like painter's paintbrush, a little small one, and just kind of dip it in there and just kind of paint that spot or whatever you needed to. Let it dry till it let it dry. I think it's like 3 hours or 2 hours, something like that. And it's just like poured glue. In fact, it is poured glue. It's just what the poured glue is made of. I will, Dreamer. I will be doing that. My next video that I produce, that I actually upload, I think is going to be a everything I wish I knew when I started diamond painting type of video. Like, I'm going to go over the entire beginner's everything. Tips, tricks, you know. I figure I've been at it now for going on 5 years. I've had the channel for 4. I think I'm pretty qualified to speak on on tips and tricks and things to know as a beginner. And the reason why I say that is because I'm actually in a few Facebook groups with an awful lot of beginners, and they all ask questions that, you know, we all look at it and go, well, how do you not know that? But really, did we know that when we were beginners? nobody was there to tell us because we YouTube. Yeah, it wasn't big yet for diamond painting. So yeah, I need to work on that. It's gonna take a while to film, because it's just I'm gonna have to do it in bits and pieces because I'm gonna talk about it and then I'm gonna show it and I'm gonna talk about the next thing and then I'm gonna show it. So it's gonna be a matter of recording it in bits and pieces and all the editing together is gonna take a while. But yeah, that's in the plans. Yeah, we learned the hard way. Hey, Christy. Hello, hello. Again, we got 15 in here, so there's a few more. Again, if anybody didn't know, if you look down below in my description or you scroll back in chat, I don't know if you can scroll back far enough, you'll see two links. They're right at the top of my description. They both are marked with a big stars and new. I have a Patreon now, and I have merch. So you can get your hands on some Hank merch, or you can get you a t-shirt or a tote bag or a tumbler that you can proudly walk around and say, I heart DP. My Patreon will be Dave Does Stuff, is what it's called. I have one patron, so I'm proud to have my one patron. And she'll probably be along here any minute. She usually pops into the live to say hi. Tonight will be the last night with long hair. You're gonna be donating it. I saw that. I saw you talking about that in the other chat. May want to look into PayPal me also. Okay. Need to do that. I'm really trying to get this built back up next because last time, before I took my year break, I had 1,700 subs. I had probably 6,000 watch hours, and I was monetized. Wasn't making a ton of money, but I was monetized, and I took a year off, and my watch hours dropped below 4,000. So that's what I'm struggling to do now is get them watch hours back up. I've got a small crew of people just putting my stuff on when they can and just letting it play in the background while they go about their day-to-day stuff. So it's helping. It really is. So they're coming back up, but slowly but surely, I'm about halfway back to my 4,000 now. What was I doing? Oh, next color. I don't think I have any of that one. Nope. Oh, but I just found some more of, or did I? Yep, I did. I just found some more of the one that I put away. Don't you love when you do that? Get off there. And did y'all see the new Firefly tray holder thing? Oh my goodness. I got to get one. It holds 3 trays, 3 of the, like these here that slide to flip. That you can slide them in the little grooves, and then you can slide another tray on top of that, and you can stack your trays on a little holder, and it's got like a little removable uh, um, uh, trash drill bucket, and it's got a little pin holder built right into the little stand, and they'll hold 3 trays wide. That is like the coolest little design. Please know you're personally invited to come hang with us in my Saturday Night Live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Anytime you'd like, my door is always open. We'd love to have you stop by. I would love to, Nix, and I probably will start doing so. But this Saturday, I'm doing live for 24 straight hours to celebrate the 4-year anniversary of the channel. I start at noon next Saturday Central, and I'm going till noon Sunday. So I definitely would stop by if I could, but I won't be able to. See you, Scotty. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. I hope to see you some more, man. Thank you, Christy, for posting those. So as I told everybody else, my Patreon will be Dave Does Stuff. Instead of diamond painting, I'm going to be doing all the other stuff that I do, like the rock tumbling and cross stitch and building models, and maybe I'll even film a day at work, like a day in the life of Dave at work being an exterminator. You know, won't be as fun and entertaining as Billy the Exterminator. What's his name? That guy with with the piercings and the tattoos and stuff. Won't be as fun as him, but it'd be an interesting look into what really being an exterminator is like, because he's nowhere near realistic. Life of an exterminator is actually kind of boring, to be honest with you. It's a lot of driving. For me, it's a lot of driving because I have a huge area that my route is in. I go from a town that's about halfway between here and Birmingham, which is about a half hour away that way, east, and I take the whole southern end of Tuscaloosa is all my route. And then out west, all the way out to what's called West Blockton, which is like halfway to Birmingham from here. And then my route goes south from there all the way down to Demopolis and Jefferson, Alabama, which is like an hour and 10 minutes south of here. An hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes south of here. And then it cuts across west to Aliceville. And then it cuts north from there and goes all the way up to Ethelsville, Alabama, which is right on the Mississippi border up by Columbus, Mississippi. And then it comes back east again to the whole west end of Tuscaloosa. So I've got this huge area that I work in. And so it's kind of important for me to do like this town on this day and this town on that day and this town on that day. So every month I have a schedule that I keep. Like the first Monday I go to this town. The first Tuesday I go to this town. And I do that every month. So that way my customers know what day they get serviced on. I'm still trying to get that settled down because the guy that did the route before me was doing that. And it kind of got blown up by not having somebody covering this route full time for a couple of months. And so now it's all off kilter. So I'm trying to get it all back on track and back on schedule again. So my life will be a whole lot easier. But still, like the town of Eutaw, Alabama has a huge zip code area. Like the town itself is tiny, but the zip code area for Eutaw is from one end of the zip code to the other end is like a half hour in any direction. So it's like, just because it says they're in Eutaw, Alabama, they're probably way out on some little gravel country road 3.5 miles from nowhere. And then the next stop may be 45 minutes, half hour away the other direction in the same town, zip code. But yeah, so that's how my day goes. I get 8 stops, anywhere from 8 to 12 stops a day. If they're all right in town, they're easy. I just boom, 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 knock them all right out. Like I have one whole neighborhood down outside of Utah that is, I do almost every house in that neighborhood. So I try to schedule all them on the same day, and I just go from one house to the next and finish them all out. Yes, thank you, Christy. Yeah, don't forget to like, y'all. I mean, right now we got 10 viewers, 9 likes. So we're doing good. Yes, streamer, it is frustrating. Frustrating to say the least. Once we get another pest control guy hired, we had one hired. Get this. The guy has been in pest control for like 25 years. Okay. He used to work for this company that I worked for before it was Stark, back when it was still a company called DC Scientific, before Aero Exterminators bought out DC and turned it into Stark. He worked for them then. And he came back to us and he started his training, which same training I had to do, which you have to learn Aero's way of doing things, which means sitting in Aero University classes on basically like Microsoft Teams. It's just like Zoom. And you have to take these classes every day. You got a schedule of classes that you have to take. They're all done live with an instructor and everything. This dude was sitting in those classes and falling asleep so deeply that the instructor would actually have everybody on the Zoom or on the call, all 50 students that were in there, yelling for this dude to wake him up. And he had a headset on, like, and he wouldn't wake up. They actually ended up having to call the boss on the phone at this location and say, hey, your guy's asleep in there at the computer in class. And the boss would have to come in and literally take a book and slam it down on the desk to wake the dude up. And the dude would wake up and go, I ain't sleeping. So needless to say, they fired him like really quick after about the third occurrence of that in as many days. But he was kind of our saving grace, is what we were hoping, because he would have been the 4th pest control tech. And then what we could do is split the routes up and rearrange them so that you have a north route, an east route, a south route, and a west route. And it would have been so much easier that way. But now we have to wait to hire another pest control tech. And then we got to wait a month for him to get trained, because it's, 4 weeks of training. I am, Christy, I'm still cross stitching. I just haven't touched it. I haven't touched my cross stitch since I got the drills in for this in February. So I need to really get my cross stitch back out and start working in it again. Emmy Sue and I were doing Rockhound kind of together. Like we both started on it at the same time. And she's like almost done. And I've got like a rock and a half stitched on Rockhound. Yeah, I haven't picked it up, but I still am. I still enjoy it. I just haven't done it in a while. I really need to clean my other desk off over here, because now I've got these 2 desks sitting in a big L shape. And what I really need to do is I need to get that other desk cleaned off. I need to start working on some models again. I'm missing my airbrushing and my model building. I haven't done it in a while. And I've got all these models stacked up there in the closet that I need to do. And I've just now got back into rock tumbling, so I'm trying to juggle all of the things: work and diamond painting and cross stitching and models and rock tumbling and whatever else I do. Cat dadding. That's the other thing. Yeah, I see your updates. How many stitches you're getting done every day? You're kind of rolling right along. I was actually keeping a pace like that at one time, and before I stopped working on them. And the reason why is because I would end up sitting here cross stitching and I'd lose track of time and it'd be like 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm still sitting here cross stitching. And I was taking it to work with me when I was working at VO, and I was able to work on them at work when I wasn't doing anything else. And so I'd sit there in the van and cross stitch during the day too. It's kind of funny, college students walk by the van and they look over and they see a grown ass man sitting there cross stitching. I got some crazy looks from some of them students, I'm telling you. People just don't expect to see it. Oh, I could get a lot done if I sit down and do it. I'd probably have Rockhound about done by now. And I'd probably definitely have Midnight Garden done. And it's almost done. I've just got 3 more corners left doing it in the border, and it's finished. I think once I get to the 1/4 point done here, when I get this little section here done, then I probably will work on another craft for a while, so I don't get burnt out on this. Now, next Saturday, when I do my live this coming Saturday, my 24 hours, I will not be working on this diamond painting. I'm gonna pull out one that's kind of snack sized, and I'm going to kit it up and try to complete it in 24 hours. That's going to be kind of my challenge to myself, to complete an entire diamond painting in 24 hours. I mean, it's not tiny. It's like 40 by 40, I think. It's the mystery that I unboxed a couple months ago. I'm going to pull it out and finish it up. Start and finish. Kit up, start and finish, all in the live. That's my goal. You should be able to finish those. They're pretty simple cross stitches. You should be able to finish those. Those are the one I got that I'm struggling with is that sunset picture that I picked up. It was a kit that I bought at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, I can't remember which, and it's just so many different patches of colors. It's not really confetti. It's confetti color blocking. So it's got a lot of color blocked sections, but they're all little small sections like that big and really odd shaped, and they're scattered around. So your color blocking sections are confettied around the thing. It's really kind of annoying. Oh no. Man down. Ah, this one's a very widespread color. Cool. I get to dump a lot of these and I get to work on it for a while. I don't have to switch colors. Probably won't have to switch colors to the end of the live, to be honest with you. Most of this dark blue through here. Let me see if I cover it up kind of with the light. Yeah. Turn that light off, see if it comes up. No. Okay, but you can kind of see this dark blue here, and then there's some dark blue that runs up through here, and then there's some scattered in, like checkerboarded up in here of this color. So I'll be at this one for a while. It may be time to replace my wax. I hope you didn't spill a lot of them, Bev T. Yeah, and I've got Slotomania running over here on my phone. You can't see it; it's off camera, but you may have been hearing some of the sounds. It's me playing Slotomania on the phone while I'm live. Because on Slotomania, I am a quadrillionaire. The only time in life I will ever be able to say I am a quadrillionaire, ever. But I am a quadrillionaire. I have 1 quadrillion, 84 million, or 84 bill, 1 quadrillion, 84 trillion, 205, or no, 815 million, 857, no, 1 quadrillion, 83 trillion, 230 billion, 857 million, 151,293 coins. Because I was playing a week or so ago and I hit like 3 grand jackpots on 3 different machines, like in one night. Awesome, Christy. Thank you. Yeah, we need more peoples. I'm trying to get it back up to what it was before I took my break. Like before I took my break, I was averaging like when you close your live out and it shows you what your peak concurrents were, which just means that's at the point where there was the most people in here at one time. There was like in the 40s. And now I'm struggling to get into the 20s on a regular basis. And I've been back now since what, Christmas time? So that's why I'm hoping next weekend will be a success with a 24-hour live. Again, like I said, I don't expect there to be very many people that are going to stay in there all 24 hours, if any. But I'm kind of hoping that I draw a big enough crowd. And I've had that live listed on YouTube now for a week. So it's gotten in front of a lot of eyes, I know for a fact. It's been recommended a lot, I'm sure. So maybe there'll just be enough new people that are curious to come by and check it out. And go, oh, okay, that's what it's all about. And I've started using my Diamond Paint with Diamond Dave Facebook profile to post in the groups with. Like, so when I talk to people in the groups and stuff, I'm talking as the channel profile instead of my personal profile. So that should get the word out even more. I've been using my Facebook group a lot more than what I used to. So I'm hoping things start picking up again here soon. It's Monday afternoon for you. You must be down there with koala crafts then, huh? Hello, Sherry. There's a new name. See, I just talked about new people finding me. See that? Welcome to the channel, Sherry. I'm Dave. Hank is behind me in my chair here. You can't see him right now, but Hank is here. Aria is finally sleeping and not being a pain in the butt today for the first time. New Zealand, okay. All right. New Zealand. So you're my first New Zealander I've ever had as a guest in the channel. I've had Australians. I've had Tasmanians. I've had a Tasmanian. And now I've got a New Zealander. Cool. It's so cool being able to do. I mean, I look at this now like here we are, 2023. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be so amazed by it, but growing up in the 70s, well, growing up in the 80s, really. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of recollection of the 70s because I was still really small. I went to kindergarten in 79. So I remember the 80s very vividly. And I remember in school, we always talked about how in the future we're going to have flying cars and we're going to have video phones where you'll be able to like watch the person you're talking to. And they all said we're going to have that by the year 2000. Well, we kind of did have the video phone part by the year 2000. We had the internet then. Still dial up. DSL was just becoming a thing. But you could video chat with somebody. It was kind of neat. And it wasn't as widespread as it is now. But having grown up in the 80s and growing up with having a rotary phone to begin with, okay? I had the old rotary phone when I was little. I remember using it. And then going to a button phone that had, dial tone and push buttons. And so much easier to dial numbers that way. And then I remember when call waiting was still an add-on feature you had to pay extra for if you wanted it added to your landline. And it was, And then I remember the first caller ID that came out, and you had to have a separate box that hooked up with all different kinds of wires to the phone and to the box and everything else. And it intercepted the number before it rang the phone, and you could see who it was. But you had to let it ring twice before the caller ID would actually be able to decipher the call and who it was from. It's just so much different now. And I just never, I look back on it and I'm like, who'd have ever thought that one day I'd be sitting in my living room and trying to entertain a whole group of people on video without having a big camera and big TV antenna outside to transmit and broadcast and all, never would have thought that. And here I am now. I got people around the world watching me. Oh, welcome back, Ashley. New Zealanders, country cousins. Well, here in Alabama, they marry their country cousins. What am I vaping? Let me see what the flavor is. It is Pod Juice brand. Mango, strawberry, and dragon fruit. It was on the clearance up rack at the vape shops. I picked it up for $5.99. Either $5.99 or 3 for $12. And so I picked up the Killer Fruits grape strawberry grape on ice, which isn't bad because I don't normally like the on ice stuff, but that doesn't have a lot of the menthol built in, so it's not too bad. And then I got Prohibition Juice Company White Lightning. It's watermelon lemonade, and it's really, really good. And I'm not usually a watermelon fan, but I've become one. So, funny story talking about watermelon flavor. Okay, I probably had like 10 juice bottles, and when you get down to the bottom of that juice bottle, and there's always that little tiny bit left that when you tilt the bottle over to the corner, it always builds up in the corner, but there's not enough to actually come out the spout when you try to squeeze it into your vape. Well, I had like 10 bottles of different flavors, none of them being watermelon, by the way. And I ran out of vape juice the day before payday. And so I took those 10 bottles with that little remnant that was left, and I popped the little top off of it, and I poured them all into one bottle and mixed them and shook them up really good, put them in the vape, and I'll be damned if it didn't taste like chocolate-covered watermelon. Believe it or not, that's actually a flavor that goes very well together. Chocolate and watermelon. Yes, ice is menthol. They put a couple of drops of menthol in it to give it that coolness. If it's done right, it's not bad. If they put too much menthol in, I can't handle it. But they did it right on that one. They put just the right amount of menthol in. But again, like I said, those are all 3 on the clearance rack because Alabama passed a new law that says vape stores are only allowed to sell vape juice brands that are registered with the state of Alabama. And so my vape shop had probably 150 different brands, and they had to get rid of a lot of them because a lot of them were not on Alabama's list of approved vendors. So they had to put a lot of stuff on clearance. And their clearance rack is $5.99 a bottle or 3 for $12. So when I go to the vape shop, I always look at the clearance rack first. No, it's not so much that dreamer. It's more along the lines of Alabama reacts really heavily to vices like vaping, smoking, kratom, uh, things they consider vices. Like in Alabama, we just barely have medical marijuana here now. They just passed it last year. And it's not like it is in California where you can just go in and say, I stubbed my toe and get a green card. You know, you have to legit have like a real honest issue like stage 4 cancer to get medical marijuana in Alabama. They're not going to make it easily accessible for anybody to get. Um, so Alabama will never legalize for recreational use ever. Like we've had people in Alabama get arrested because they're just passing through the state on their way somewhere else, and they happen to have some in the car with them because where they come from, they have a green card and they're allowed to have it, but they get pulled over in Alabama and the cop searches their car. And believe it or not, the cops will search, especially if they're from California, Colorado, wherever. They'll search the car as soon as they pull it over because they know they're going to find something in it more than likely. And you will go to jail in Alabama. So be on your P's and Q's driving through Alabama if you've even got a medical card from another state, because Alabama will not honor it, even in the event that you're just passing through. Yeah, but I know in California, it used to be it was a medical thing. And I remember when it was like a medical thing, you could go to the doctor and just say, like, I stubbed my toe and it hurts really bad. And they'd give you a green card. It's like they were handing them out like candy. They might as well have just gone ahead and legalized for recreational anyway, because it pretty much already was. But yeah, so Alabama will never legalize marijuana. Um, Back when kratom first hit the U.S. and became a thing here, a lot of drug addicts were using it because in the brain and in the brain chemistry, it it mimics what happens inside your brain when you take heroin. So not to where it gets you high, but it mimics. It tells your brain that you had heroin even though you didn't. So people that are addicted to heroin could take kratom and never have the withdrawals, and then they could get off of the heroin. And it's a much safer alternative than methadone, which is just as bad as the heroin you're trying to get people off of. And but because it does that and it has the stigma associated to it of, oh my God, it tells your brain you just took heroin, it must be addictive. The FDA, all of a sudden, instead of doing research, said, oh, it's dangerous, it's addictive. Alabama instantaneously outlawed it, gave the stores that had it on the shelves 48 hours to clear their shelves and get rid of it. That quick, it just like happened overnight. And now the FDA walked back on that statement like a few months later and said, oh, well, okay, it's not as bad as we once thought it was, but we still have to do some research to find out exactly what's going on with it. Alabama didn't react. Alabama was just like, nope, not having it here. It's a Schedule 1 controlled substance in Alabama. I could get in just as much trouble for having this little tub with that little bit in there right now. I can get in just as much trouble for that as if I had an 8-ball of cocaine on me. Maybe I shouldn't be broadcasting that out live to the world, but I don't see a problem with kratom. It's not addictive. It's not harmful. It doesn't impair you. And so far, it has worked for what I need it for, which is energy focus and uh, social anxiety. Now that you picked up all the drills, it's time for coffee. I need to make some coffee. I think when I get done with my live, I'm going to make a cup of coffee. Coffee helps me sleep. Not like I've really needed help with that either here lately. Some nights I get off work, I come home, I get home at 5 or so, walk in the door, give the cats their treats, and I sit down in the chair to diamond paint or to watch some YouTube, and I'm out, like just out. And sometimes I don't wake up until 10:30 at night. Skipped dinner, skipped everything, just went right to sleep. And then I'll stay up for like an hour or two, maybe watch a couple YouTube videos, and then I'm ready to go to bed. And that's not like me at all. Anybody that knows me knows that's not like me. No, vaping does not have tobacco. They have tobacco flavored stuff. If you like different types of cigars or whatever, you can get vape juice that tastes like it. But vaping does not have tobacco. The only problem is the FDA back in, I want to say 2018, went above their scope of power, and they basically made law, which the FDA cannot make law, the ATF cannot make law. The only people that can make law is Congress. But everybody now has started jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, well, the ATF says so, so we have to comply. No. The FDA says so, we have to comply. No, we don't. The FDA is a government organization, but they don't make law. They can make recommendations and guidelines, but they can't make law. So the FDA in 2018 or 2017, somewhere around there, passed or put out what's called the deeming regulations. Now, the FDA cannot put out regulations on anything, but because everybody is, nobody's taught civics properly anymore, just kind of is like, oh man, it means we have to start doing this. The FDA deemed that vaping should be classified under tobacco use, and the vaping community is throwing a fit, and it's like, no, we're vaping because we don't want to be on tobacco anymore. There is no tobacco in vape. It's propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and flavoring, and a little bit of nicotine, depending on how much you're using. Like I go 3 milligrams per milliliter. So this is a 100 milliliter bottle. There's 300 milligrams of nicotine in that whole bottle. So 300 milligrams of nicotine, if you were to equate that to cigarettes, 300 milligrams of nicotine is probably about the same amount of nicotine in there as is in probably 2 packs of cigarettes. And this bottle takes me 3 weeks to go through. So I'm not getting near the amount of nicotine that I was from smoking. And it's much healthier. I mean, I know the healthiest thing is nothing at all, but if you must do something, vaping is probably the best way to go because it's not going to harm you nearly as bad as smoking will, because you're not putting solid combusted particles into your lungs. I don't know if you can get it in New Zealand or not, Bev tea. I know it's grown not far from there. It's actually grows in Indonesia. But kratom is awesome. White vein and green vein for social anxiety. White vein is all energy. It's what it's made for is energy, and they call it mood enhancement. But the mood enhancement is more along the lines of it. Just like, okay, normally I'm the guy, like I've always been the guy that you take me to a party, or let's say I was to go to one of the retreats without kratom, I'd be the guy that would just hang out back in the corner, and you would hardly even know I'm there, and everybody would be looking and going, "Who's that guy back in the corner? He's kind of weird. He doesn't say anything to anybody." That's me. I wouldn't be able to do this channel and do this without kratom. Um, it's what it does is you take that kratom, and it's like you'd never even had that anxiety ever. It's like it completely changes that aspect of your thought process. Um, it fixes it, whatever it does, it fixes it. And so it does that for me. Now, white vein has the strongest effect of that. White vein is also has the strongest energy effect. The other end of the spectrum is the red vein, which red vein is a sedative and painkiller. I mean, taking 3 grams of red vein would be like taking 2 Percocets. Um, it's just going to put you to sleep. It's gonna sedate you, and it's gonna take away the pain. But red vein is also what most heroin addicts that are trying to get off the heroin, they take the red vein because it has more of that effect that it tells your brain that, oh yeah, you got your fix. I ain't got to go into withdrawals. Um, so what's in the middle is the green vein, which is what I take. And green vein gives you pain relief, like taking a couple of ibuprofen or a couple of Advil or a Aleve or whatever. It gives you that kind of pain relief. It takes away the social anxiety, and it gives you energy. And the energy isn't a crash energy. So it's like you can take it, and when it wears off, you don't just crash like you would with like sugars or energy drinks and stuff like that. It you stop taking it. The worst part about kratom is when you stop taking it. Like if I run out of it and I stop taking it for a couple of days, um, kratom kind of binds you up a little bit. And when I stop taking kratom, it just becomes pure liquid for the first few days after I stop taking it. So no, Dreamer is called kratom. It's not weed. It's called that. It's called Mitragina speciosa. It's a member of the coffee family. It grows naturally in Indonesia, has been used as medicinal purposes over there for centuries. Um, they either chew the leaves or they dry the leaves out and pulverize them into a really fine powder. And then you pack the powder into little tablets, or you just do like I do. I just take a regular measuring spoon of it like that, and I just nice even level 1 teaspoon measuring spoon is about 3 grams, and I take that in the morning when I wake up, and I wash it down with like a Mountain Dew or Monster or coffee. I just put that in my mouth like a BC headache powder and pour in the liquid and swish it around and swallow it. Yeah, you can buy it like everywhere but Alabama. You can buy it in pretty much any tobacco shop, or some places. Like I can go to Georgia, I have to drive to either Mississippi, Georgia, or Tennessee to buy mine. They sell it in gas stations. Like in Georgia, there's a gas station I go to buy it because it's cheaper there than anywhere else that I can go. But it's a 3-hour drive to Georgia to buy it. 3 hours one way to go buy it. So it's like if I want to go to there, it's half the price there that it is anywhere else I go buy it from. but it's 3-hour drive where I can pay twice the price as what I would pay in Georgia if I go to Meridian, Mississippi. But Meridian, Mississippi is only a 1-hour drive one way, like an hour and 20 minutes one way. And because I'm down that way for work a lot, like one of the houses I service is like not far from Meridian. It's like 15, 20 minutes away. I'll try to do that house last at the end of the day, and then I'll just drive across the border in the company truck, go by the Kratom, come back. But yeah, it's labeled by like this right here. It says Mengda Kratom. Okay, Mengda is Indonesian for pimp grade, which means it's just the best stuff you can get. Like it has the highest amount of the alkaloids in it that do all of the work. You can get like green Bali or green Thai or green Borneo or whatever. They're all green vein versions. And the reason why they call them green vein is because the vein on the plant, when you pick the leaves will either have a red vein on the leaves. They'll either have a red or white or a green vein. And that's how they're classified by their red, white, and green. They're actually trees. They're not like regular plants. They're trees that grow in Indonesia. But there's no high associated with it. There's no impairment. So I can take this and I can drive because I'm not going to be impaired like I would be if I was smoking weed or drinking alcohol or taking drugs. It's just you get a feeling that everything's just right with the world, and you're more open to conversation and communication with people. And again, it gives you energy and some mild pain relief along with it. No, it is not addictive, Dreamer. I can stop taking kratom and I will not get withdrawals. I will, if I stop taking it, one, I'll get the poops because it kind of binds you up. It's like, so once I stop taking it, I get the poops for a few days. But otherwise, no. I mean, but now if you've been taking it and you're using it for energy, what you're basically doing is masking the tiredness. So you're still as tired as what you were when you're on it. It's just you don't feel that tired anymore. So when you stop taking it and you've been off of it a couple of days, you start feeling that tired that you should have been feeling all along while you were taking it. And it takes you a little bit to get out of that. But no, that's not addictive to the point where, I'm going to go like kill somebody to get my next fix of kratom. I could stop tomorrow and be okay. I'd just be really tired for a while. But I guess in the right person, okay, with the right person, anything can be addictive though. I mean, some people just have that natural addictive personality where to the right person, anything could be addictive. I mean, anything at all. Like they could be addicted to eating Pop Tarts. You know, so to say ask if something is addictive for most people, no. For most normal people, no, it's not addictive. But if you're the kind of person that gets addicted to anything very easily, like I said, some people are addicted to eating Pop Tarts. You know, and if they don't have them, they're very grumpy and cranky and not fun to be around. I'm using that as a weird example, but I don't actually know anybody that's addicted to Pop Tarts. But what I'm just saying is some people can become addicted to even the most mundane things. And those are the people that shouldn't take anything. Pepsi's got caffeine in it, of course. Caffeine is an addictive chemical. Caffeine is actually more addictive than some opiates. It's just that it's not labeled as hazardous like the opiates are. I get more bent out of shape if I run out of Mountain Dew than I do if I run out of Kratom. Yep. Yeah, I knew that. That's where the Coca in Coca-Cola meant meant it had coca extract in it, which is basically cocaine, liquid form. But it wasn't used the way we use it now either. It wasn't drank as a regular drink that everybody just drank for, on a daily basis. It was actually used at that point in time, was actually used as like a home remedy thing. No, they had to stop doing that. That was when derivatives of the coca plant were outlawed. They had to stop using it. Yeah, I've been to the Coke Museum in Atlanta. That is really cool to go see. If you're ever in Atlanta, that's a must do. Just go to the Coke Museum. You can actually go there and see how they bottle the Coke, and you can learn the history of the company and how it came about. And then you get to walk through the plant and watch them bottle it. And another cool one is if you're ever in Pennsylvania, you can go to the Hers potato chip factory up there and take a tour. And they have like what Hers is known for is all of the unique flavors that they come up with. Um, they have flavors there at the factory that you can't even get in the store, and you get to sample those things right off of the line. Like you get to the end of the plant tour, and there's potato chips right there that just came out of the machine that you can eat, and they have all these different flavors you can try that aren't even like in the stores right now. That's a really cool tour. And if you're going to do that tour, you're not very far away from Hershey, Pennsylvania, so you can go to Hershey Park and go to the Hershey Chocolate Factory tour too. And when you go to the Hershey Chocolate Factory, they actually have a 5-pound Hershey Kiss you can buy and a 10-pound Hershey bar. I actually had one of the 10-pound Hershey bars. That was crazy. Like, it was literally thicker than these Firefly trays. It was like twice the thickness. It was like as thick as 2 of these Firefly trays put together. And it was like that long. Like, it was massively big. I ate that whole thing too. It took me a long time, but I ate that whole thing. I'd just take a knife and cut off a big chunk of it each night and just sit there for like an hour eating that chunk of chocolate. Yeah, it was a little much, but like I said, I didn't eat it all at once. I mean, it took me a year or so to go through the whole chocolate bar. Just cutting off. I mean, I didn't cut off a chunk as big as my tray here, but I mean, I'd cut off, a little chunk about that big and then sit there and eat it. Maybe do that every other day or two. I wish I could find somewhere that I could get like a 10-pound, Reese's cup. All right. Have a good night, Christy. It's 10 o'clock already. I have been debating, y'all. I don't know. I've noticed that starting around 10 o'clock, my numbers start falling off. Um, that's 10 o'clock my time, which is, it's 11 o'clock Eastern. So I can understand anybody on the Eastern time zone it's getting late for them. Um, but I've noticed that after like 10 o'clock, I start watching my numbers drop off. And the analytics kind of prove it that I get my highest number of viewers like just before 10 p.m. and then it just steadily drops off all the way to 11. And so I've been debating about whether or not I'm just going to do a 2-hour live on Sunday nights now instead of 3. When I started doing lives, I never actually intended to do 3 hours. But then when I did it, I was still pulling, 40 people at 11 p.m. And it just seems like that's slowed down a lot. I don't know if it's that way for everybody, or I don't think so, because I hang out in other people's lives and they've still got a ton of people in there at the end. So I've been debating about moving back to 2-hour lives. Yes, milk, sugar, and chocolate syrup. Must have milk, sugar, and chocolate syrup in my coffee. Yeah, but I would think after being back now for 4, almost 5 months, that things will be back on track. I'd figure by 4 or 5 months time, I'd be back on track to where I was after before taking a year off. It's just not as many people that I used to know do the live thing anymore. Um, that's part of it, is they don't go hanging out in lives like they used to either. And I've noticed that the diamond painting community now has become very cliquish. And a lot of those cliques are like, if you're not a part of that clique already, it's really hard to get into it. And if you're not already a part of it, it's like you don't even exist to them. I've kind of noticed that since coming back. It's changed a lot because there's so many new people that weren't around when I took my break. And they all only just hang out in each other's lives, and that's it. They don't stray outside of their clique very much. Yeah, and that's also part of it, is there's so many new people that I miss the days of when Pippa had the little list that she kept, and everybody kind of went in there and kind of put down what time their live slot was, and other people tried not to go live at the same time. But now there's just so many people that there's probably two or three others live right now in this community. And their fan base is already established, so pulling fans away from them to get people to come here is just going to be difficult at best. And then on top of that, I had a really great opening act. Like, before I quit, Crashly was my opening act. So it was like she warmed everybody up and then sent them over to mine. That was rating before rating was a thing. Because I thought about getting on Twitch and doing that, and I started reading up on Twitch and how it works, and everybody's talking about rating, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be rated. But then you come to find out that rating is actually a good thing. That means somebody with a high follower count is ending their stream and sending everybody from their stream over to yours. Oh, Dreamer, she was just saying that she was making coffee and she's putting the milk and sugar out for everybody in case anybody else wanted to make coffee. Virtual coffee. If somebody wants to buy me a coffee, I have a buy me a coffee account. It's down in the description down below. Yeah, Twitch is very clickish. Yeah. That's kind of why I didn't get into it, because getting into it as a new person and trying to get into one of those clicks is really hard. Now, like when I started this channel, okay, there was a kind of a click that I kind of just kind of falling into. Um, at that time, it was Mrs. Coffee, Rachel Ray, Stephanie Wolfpack, Jeremy, Sherry, and oh, there was more I know, but that was like the main ones. And those were like the first ones I found when I found YouTube and started watching YouTube. So when I started my channel, I would go hang out in their lives and just get to know everybody, talk to everybody in the chat, talk with the host, whoever was hosting that chat, and just became kind of a regular fixture in those groups. And everybody kind of got to know me. And I decided I'd start going live. I kind of already had a built in audience because people would see me hanging out in the chat. They'd click my name in the chat room or in the chat, because then you used to be able to click the name and go to their profile. And they would click it. It would open in a different tab. They'd subscribe to me. And that's how I got a lot of subscribers. Just hanging out in other people's chats. I didn't self promote. I didn't say, hey, I'm recording now or whatever. I just get in there and talk to people. And because I had a name, Diamond Paint with Diamond Dave, they were like, oh, he must have a channel. They'd click me. They'd come check me out. They'd subscribe. Then when I started going live, I kind of already had a built-in audience. It's not as easy to do that anymore now. I kind of, I hang out in lives. I go to T-Mall's lives. I went to Mrs. Coffee for the first time in a long time on this past Friday night. But I'll go to other people's lives and hang out in there and talk. And I just don't get the same response of people checking me out because YouTube took away the ability to be able to click on their name in chat and go to their profile. All right. Good night, Ashley. Yes, Dreamer. Wolfpack is still around. She's very active. She still goes live on Thursday nights, Thursday evenings. She just got back from Ireland visiting Rachel Ray. She's still very active. Yes, J Rob is still around. She still does the Ohio retreat every year. It's kind of the two big ones are the Lone Star retreat and the Ohio retreat. And then there's like tons of little small ones that pop up here and there throughout the year. But those are like the two big ones. J Rob puts that on every year. She ended up having a baby of her own, and she is kind of really busy with the baby at the time. But yeah, she's still around. She's actually been in my live a couple of times since I've been back. The one that's missing is Sherry. She what's her name? Diamond Art Addiction. Well, she was Diamond Art Addiction, and then she changed to Purple Door Crafts, and then she changed to something else, and then she kind of just fell off the face of the earth. When Amber and I first broke up, me and Sherry were like, she was texting me, and we got on the phone a couple of times and talked on like Facebook Messenger calls. She just trying to like get me through it and stuff, just being a friend, being there to help. And I haven't heard from her since then. I know she came back sometime last year. She came back and started doing stuff, and then she put out another video or put out another Instagram post or something that said, I'm this is wearing on my mental health and I've got to quit. And I haven't heard from her since. So, and back then we had Eskies, diamond painting with Eskies. Used to go to her lives a lot because she was live like all the time. You can pretty much log on to YouTube any given time of day, and Eskies was live. Yeah, Bev T. She ended up having a baby. There was that issue with the adoption that went bad because the at the last minute the birth mother decided she wanted to keep the baby after J Rob already had the baby, had picked it up and was taking care of it and everything. And then when the time was just about to run out for the mother to claim rights, the mother did claim rights again, and they had to come and take the baby away, which was really sad. Um, but yeah, she ended up having her own child, her own baby, and that's really cool. I'm so happy for her. Yeah, Eski's channel's still there. Yeah, I haven't seen her do anything in a while. Yeah, it's still Bev T. It's still DP Addiction Adventures. It's still J Rob's channel. She never changed the channel name. And I remember uh, Mayhem. She would go live all the time, but she always kind of went live during the day, like just like Rachel Ray always went live during the day. So I'd end up missing it because I'd be at work. And there was Anxiety Art Adventures, which went live like an hour after I did or something on Sunday nights, or she went live. She started her live just before I'd start mine. Okay, Dreamer, I'll you have to let me know because I haven't heard from Sherry. Like I said, right after Amber and I broke up, Sherry and I were like talking on like Facebook Messenger, and like she was just kind of helping me through the initial stages of getting over a relationship type thing. And then she started her YouTube channel back up. And then it wasn't like a couple of weeks, maybe a month later, and she's like, the mental health is getting to me and I can't do this anymore like she did when she was doing YouTube before. And I think that's what hurt Sherry the most was the fact that she was constantly always having to take a break from YouTube. And Of course, I see Pippa just came back. Haven't seen her pop up in any of my lives either. She used to hang out in my lives all the time too. Well, they were, and I can understand because of all the drama that went down at one point. I know Brian kept in touch with her too. I haven't seen Brian in my lives in a while. Where's he been at? Sherry is engaged to Mary. I thought she was with Richard. Her and Richard split up. Oh, she's engaged to be married. Okay, all right. You threw me off there. I thought her and Richard were engaged. They've been living together. I mean, it's DP Addiction Adventures. On Friday evenings. Okay. Now she's going up against Mrs. Coffee and T-Mall. It's probably the one night of the week I would not go live. That's kind of why I scheduled my 24-hour live for Saturday into Sunday. Because if I went Friday night, Mrs. Coffee would have pretty much half the diamond painting community in there. Oh, she's on before them. Okay. But I can definitely tell. One thing I can tell since I've been back is I can tell who the ones were that were here for Amber because they have never come back to my live since. And of course, they're all the same ones that Amber was texting with a lot off, you know, off channel. So I kind of wouldn't expect them to come back. They probably think I'm the worst person in the world. Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm getting that from people now. When I came back, I heard a lot of people tell me that they liked it better. They liked it better without her, and she actually chased some away, which I can understand because her and Pam were a little much sometimes, and they'll even tell you that they're a little much. um, but I can tell the ones that were coming here just for her, that were more her friend than they were mine, type thing, because they've never came back since. And again, like I said, they're the same ones that all along had been texting with Amber privately. So they were friends with her and not me. So it makes sense. Hello, Nana. You missed my big announcement other than Patreon. You knew that already. But I got merch now, Nana. In my description, I got a merch link now. I'm selling. I'm selling merch. I've got to get a good picture of Arya so that I can make some Arya merch. I've got Hank merch, but I use the picture that I use for the Hank custom for the Hank merch because that custom is kind of synonymous with this channel. That thing is going to live in infamy. It's going Well, Dreamer, okay. There was an awful lot that was never said on live as far as why Pam ended up here. And I agreed to it. Um, Amber and I were making a trip down here. Well, at one point when Amber was still living down here before she moved up to Tennessee, moved up to North Dakota, um, I went down here to come visit her for like a weekend. And while I was here, she got a phone call from her mom. Her mom was in a really abusive, bad relationship with a guy, and she was living just outside of Little Rock. And this guy was like nutso nuts. And he, make a long story short, he shot at her dog, and while he was in front of her, he pulled the gun out, put it in his mouth, pulled the trigger, and missed. Well, partially missed. He didn't achieve the purpose he was going for. Instead, he just blew his jaw off. Um, he was nutso. So Amber and I were coming down here for her daughter's birthday, and we arranged it for her mom to come stay with us to get out of that environment. And so I had no problem whatsoever getting her out of that environment. Um, but that also led to the partially to the downfall of what happened between Amber and I, with the fact that having her mom here all the time, we couldn't be us and do what we wanted to do with her mom here all the time. So it kind of led to um, a distancing between the two of us. And because of that distancing and because of the job I had, Amber kind of found solace in other people at the bar, her friends at the bar, and wanting to be there all the time instead of home with me. And it just led to her eventually meeting somebody else that showed her more attention than what I was able to at the time. And that's who she's with. And we had our knockdown, drag out arguments. I mean, we argued, fought, screamed, yelled, the whole works at each other there at the end. And, you know, in typical fashion, you both look at each other as the bad guy at that point. And so I'm pretty sure the people that she was texting and talking to and stuff probably view me as the bad guy, you know? But there is no hard feelings. I mean, yes, there is, but no, there isn't. We know that we'll never be a couple again, but we have maintained, since things have calmed down and we both had time to get away and get out of that situation. We've both become friendly. I'm not going to say friends. Yeah, I guess we are still friends. We become friendly, and she, when I go on trips to go hiking or whatever, Amber comes and takes care of the cats for me. Um, and I got no problem with that. You know, she'll stop by and feed them and give them their good food and their treats and stuff. So, and that's where we're at. So, I mean, I will not talk bad about her. I will not, I'm just as much to blame for the end of that relationship as she was. No, I seriously doubt it, Dreamer. Thank you, Nana. You have a great pic of Arya. I have a good pic of her. The one I took, I think I sent it to you not long ago, the one where she was up in the cat tree and she had the one paw hanging over the edge and her face hanging over. I love that picture of her. And I might get a custom of that one done because it's just so Arya. Right now though, she is asleep, and that's exactly where I want her to be because she is in heat again and she's been driving me nuts all day up here on my desk, knocking everything off my desk by trying to rub her face on everything she can possibly rub her little face on. But right now she's asleep in the cat tree, so I'm going to leave her alone. Now, Dreamer, I don't think that's not going to happen. One is, I think we both learned our lesson on that one, that's just not going to work between us. I do know Pam is no longer a part of that equation. Pam is now in Texas, and her and Amber are not really getting along very well. Because Amber and her man threw her out, basically. Which I can understand why that too. I mean, she didn't do much. I'm telling you, Nana, cats, when they go in heat, they become like little monsters. Ugh. If I ever get another female cat, I swear she's going to be fixed before I get her. Because Aria, I mean, now I don't have all the wires hanging down beside the computer anymore where I did have them. That she used to get down there and get herself tangled in them and yank all that stuff off the desk by she'd try to rub her face on the wires, but then she'd get her paw up around one of them and the other paw around another, and then she'd roll around and she'd pull everything off the desk. And I managed to rerun all those wires so not hanging all down there, but now she wants to be up right here on the desk doing her little meow, 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 wiggling her butt around and rubbing her face on my mic and rubbing her face on my soda bottles and rubbing her face on my vape and everything else she can. And as she does that, she just pushes it off the desk. The Dreamer, I'm working on getting Arya fixed. We're trying to figure it out. I've got to find a place that does it really cheap. Because as I said earlier in the live, I can barely keep my lights on. I mean, I'm sitting here right now praying that the electric company does not cut me off before next weekend when I can do my big live. I mean, I'm literally sitting here like praying that they don't. I mean, I've got to get through this for another month until when I go to renew my lease, I get a $300 credit towards my June rent. And I'll be off of the payment arrangement to where I'm paying $650 every paycheck to get my rent caught up from the time I was behind when I was with Vio. So once I get off of that $650 a paycheck and I have a $300 credit, I'll be able to get my rent caught up and then be able to start putting away about $450 a check towards my rent because my rent will be about $900. So I'll be able to put $450 a paycheck towards my rent, and that'll clear up an extra $200 that I have right now. If I could get this stupid car payment off of me, I would definitely do it. Problem is, I done told them, look, I'm gonna bring this car back to y'all and just let y'all have it back. And they're like, well, you still got to pay for it, and they will come after you and make you pay for it, even if you take it back to them, which I don't think makes any damn sense. But if I could get that $245 a paycheck off of me, I'd be sitting pretty right now. But that's what's really killing me is they expect their $250 every paycheck, or they're going to come repo the car. And even if they repo it, I still got to pay for it. Because at one point I told them, come repo the damn thing. It cost me more in gas than anything. In fact, I haven't driven it literally in the last month and a half. The last time I actually drove it was around the block a few times to charge the battery up in it because the battery had died. And I jumped it off with my company truck and I drove it around the block a couple times. I don't even know that it's got enough gas in it to make it to the gas station to put more in it. But I've got a company truck with a gas card, and I can just pretty much use that for my whatever little bit of getting around I do around town. The only problem is it limits me being able to go like on hiking trips and stuff like that because I can't take my company truck on personal use trips like that. My electric bill averages on average anywhere from 150 to 175. In the wintertime, when I'm having to run the heat all the time, like in the hottest part of summer and in the wintertime when it's the coldest, um, it it can go up to like 200, 250. Right now, I think I owe them somewhere in the 200 range because I'm actually a month behind. And see, the thing is, I use Chime for my checking, which I really should stop doing that because one, I use it because it allows me to, it has the spot me to where I can go 160 in the hole in between checks without them, and once I hit that 160, it just won't let me use it anymore. There's no overdraft fees on it. So once I pay my 650 a check for my rent and pay the 245 on my car payment, I've got nothing left of the check. I'm back at zero again. But now I've got 160 that I can pay at least a bill with, or I can live off of for the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever. Because I get paid on the 15th and the last day of the month. Whatever day the last day is, I get paid on that. So I get that, I have that 160 cushion to live off of. Well, now I'm 160 in the hole before my next check ever hits. So that's automatically 160 of that check gone as soon as it hits the bank. And now I'm back up to, I've only got enough to pay the rent and the car payment. And so I'm just kind of stuck in that rut. And I need something to get me unstuck from that rut to where I can get something caught up to have a little more cushion and leeway with time to pay or whatever. I mean, right now my internet is actually off. My internet is actually shut off. It's kind of funny. I can still use the internet, but according to AT&T, they've shut me off like 3 weeks ago or more. But I use VPN. So even though if I tried to connect my computer hardwired to to the AT&T box, it would say no internet until my VPN opens up. And once my VPN opens up, it automatically connects to its server, and now I've got internet. So I'm kind of cheating a little bit until the bill gets so far behind that AT&T cancels my account. And at that point, then I have to pay whatever past due I have. And then I have to call them up and say, hey, I want my service back. And they basically start me an all new account with the same account number that I had before. They do it like it's a new service again. And yes, I've had to do this several times. A VPN is a virtual private network, Nana. Basically, it's like, all right, when I open up my VPN with Nord, when I open up Nord, which I can't even do that because I couldn't renew the yearly, so I went and got a free one somewhere. But with a VPN, what you do is you connect to the internet through your VPN. So your VPN connects to a server, say it's in Atlanta, or say it's in, Dallas or Washington, D.C., whatever. It connects to that server, and all of your surfing that you do on the internet is routed through there, and it makes it look like to the end person that you are in Atlanta or you are in Dallas or you are in wherever. I can actually use my VPN. I can connect to the UK. And so it looks like that I'm actually operating out of the UK, but I'm sitting right here in Alabama. And what that allows you to do, though, is you can get on Netflix and you can connect to the UK server and get on Netflix, and you can find stuff on Netflix that you can't get here in the United States. No, Bella, my 24-hour stream is going to be next Saturday, starting at noon Central Time. Tonight's just my regular Sunday night live. But next week, I'm going live on Saturday at noon Central Time till Sunday, noon at Central Time, and there will be no Sunday night live. Let me look up something here real quick. Because I even wonder, because I don't even look at it when I know I'm that far behind. I don't even look at it because I don't want to see the numbers. But you asked me, Sherry, so I'm going to look. It may not let me log in. Should. It's taking its sweet time. The site can't be reached. Let's see. Do it on my phone. Huh. Okay. 206.82. And if it's not paid by the 12th, they cut me off. I get another check before then. No, I don't. I don't get my next check till the 15th. Um, I heard you, Dreamer. Sherry, I do. I saw it, Dreamer. Yeah, my PayPal is right here. I mean, it just kind of sucks that I'm in this situation because I am literally working my ass off every day, and it's just not enough to do it. Oh, oh, you don't have to do that, Sherry. You really don't. I do appreciate it, though. I tell you what, my mistake was. I stayed at VO way too long. I liked the job, but it just wasn't paying what I needed to make, and I just stayed there and held on to it for too long. And I should have been doing something else ever since. And now I got this job, and it's great. I mean, I'm making double what I was making at VO. But the problem is just I've gotten so far behind when I was working at VO that I just couldn't get caught up, and it's just been a constant, endless rut. Oh, I definitely will, Sherry. I I'm a firm believer in the pay it forward thing. I've always I say paying it forward is what back in 2020 won me that lottery ticket. Um, we had stopped. It was the weekend that we went and picked up Amber's mom from Little Rock, and we came down here to visit with her daughter, Amber's daughter, for birthday. And we were on our way back to Tennessee. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and we were on our way back to North Dakota. Barely had enough gas to get back up there, and we stopped at this little Chevron station that's right here in town. It's just as you come into town from the south end, and we stopped in there to get gas. And there was a girl sitting out on the front in tears. She was just sitting there on the sidewalk in tears. And I was like, "What's the matter?" And she's like, "My boyfriend beat me up last night, and my mom has my kid, and I just need a place to stay, and I'm trying to get enough money to get this motel room at the Best Western. It's like right behind this gas station." And I was like, I felt bad. I was like, I'm on my way back to North Dakota, and I've just barely got enough money for us to get gas to get back there, or I would give you some. And so I got back in the car, and Amber and her mom asked, "Well, what was that girl doing up there?" You talked to her. I was like, "Well, her boyfriend beat her up last night. Her mom's got her kid. She needs a place to stay, and she's trying to get enough money to get in a hotel over there behind the store." And I said, I just told her we didn't have enough to do it, and they looked at us and they put money together and everything else, and they were like, "You know what? Let's go give her this amount." And we just gave her. I don't know if it was enough to get the motel room or all, but she was so grateful, and she hugged everybody. And then we drove up to Tennessee, and we stopped at my son's house and watched the Super Bowl halftime show, the Shakira and uh, Jennifer Lopez halftime show. And I said, "Well, we got to get going. We got to head back to North Dakota." Start heading up and get to the next town north. Um, and Amber asked me, she said, "Can we stop and buy some scratch offs?" I'm like, "Man, we don't really have the money to do it, but maybe we'll win a little bit." So I went in, I bought $5 or $25 worth of $5 ones, and bought her like $20 worth of $1 ones. And we were sitting in the car scratching them off. And about the same time I was scratching the one off that I won on, Amber scratched one off, and she goes, "Look at this, I just hit 200. I'm like, "Cool. Our gas problems are solved tonight." And I scratched mine off, and I was like, "Oh, look, I just won $150. And she looked at it. She goes, "Let me see that." And I did. I showed it to her, and she goes, "Hold on, scratch the rest of that off." And I scratched the rest off. She goes, "You're missing some zeros there." I was like, "What, 1,500?" She says, "No." She said, "That's 150 with 3 zeros after it." And I had to look closer, and I'm like, "Oh my God. I checked the numbers that it was supposed to match and everything." I was like, had to make sure did I actually win 150,000? I took it inside, and the girl scanned it, and it made this Yahoo noise. And I was like, "Oh." She goes, "You need to sign the back of this thing right now." And she goes, "You need to stop what you're doing and go straight to Nashville. Be there first thing in the morning when the lottery office opens. Here's the address to it. You need to be there." And then sure enough, went, and there was 150,000. But, you know, I had, I ended up developing really high tastes for things. Plus, there was, when you get that kind of money and you're not used to having it, and you get that kind of money, you end up buying all the things you ever wanted. And then you don't have that money anymore. Oh, my Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I did have a lot of help spending that money too, Dana. I will agree. And she never got told no. I mean, that was the thing. I was that way. I've been that way with everybody I've been with, though, not just her. I'm always that way when it comes to the women I'm with. It's like, if I've got it, you're not going to hear the word no. If I've got it, you want it, it's yours. And I've always been that way. But now you make me that way with 150,000 in the bank. Yeah. So, it her and mine both. I mean, look at this. I spent $400 on a freaking model kit, and then another $400 on extra dress up parts for it. I mean, granted, is it something I've always wanted? Yeah. Is it going to provide me several years worth of fun building it? Yeah. But, still, is it something I really needed to buy then? No. No, that's true, Nana. You're right. I'm just too nice for my own good. I need to learn to say no. Oh, wow. I guess that would explain why my. Let's see if the camera picks it up. I guess that would explain why my wax is not working anymore. How black it got on the end. I try, Nana. I try. I was just raised that way. It's like, my mom was the same way. Like, if my mom had it and I wanted it, I wasn't told no. And she always told me that's the way I should be. Hank, you are going to have to move, bud. This is uncomfortable. He is sitting down in the seat of the chair behind me, and I'm having to sit on the very front edge of my chair because he's laying behind me. Get up here. Come here. Get up there. Hi, I know what you want. I know what you want. It's almost time, huh, buddy? Hi. Yeah, I see you. No, 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 no. Well, I do appreciate it, Sherry. I really do. You just don't know what that means to me. It's a huge level of stress gone. Let's put it that way. Because that happened, what was it, last month? Last month or month before last? Um, it was halfway between paychecks, and they cut the lights off on me. And I sat here for 24, 48 hours without lights. Yeah, something like that. I mean, I can survive through it. I've got my backpacking gear. I've got my little camp stove with my little 1 liter water, titanium water thing that I can boil water in and make ramen in and stuff. So it's not like I can't live because that little camp stove screws on right on the top of a little thing. It's your backpacking camp stoves, and so I mean I can cook right here in my living room, but it's not pleasant. Well, we kind of got lucky at that point in time when that happened then, and we weren't going through the hot temperatures yet. This was back right around the same time as that little cold snap we had, the last little cold snap we had. It was bad at night though, trying to sleep in the cold at night because I didn't have any heat. I'm sure they were comfortable, and I had warm clothes I could put on and sleep in too, so it wasn't that bad. And I had this thing. This is my power bank that I use when I'm hiking, backpacking. That's enough to charge my phone like 5 times before I have to charge it. And so I could keep my phone charged. And this charges with the USB. And that's an 1100 lumens headlamp. So that's like really super bright. I can light a room up with it. So I would just like aim this at the ceiling and turn it on. And it gave me light in the room. I'm going to tell you this. The gear that I have for backpacking has saved my butt more than once at home. That was some of the best investment I've ever had because all of that stuff I can use at home. Say like we end up having a power outage for whatever reason. I can do really good here. I've got my little stove I can cook on. All I got to do is put some water in my titanium cook kettle and screw that thing on the top of the little gas canister and light it up with a lighter. And I've got hot food. I've got power in my little power bank thing. And I can keep my phones charged and keep a light going. In fact, this light right here is USB powered too. This magnifier light with the ring of light on it that's really bright. I can use that on there as well because it's USB powered. Yeah, I do appreciate it because that's really going to help me, Sherry, with like, it's going to buy me some time, is all I really need. Because my last 650 payment per check for rent, I will be caught up in May with this month. So I'll be caught up on the rent then. So then the first of the month in June, I will be having to pay my full rent, but I'll have a $300 credit towards that rent when that time comes because I'm renewing my lease. And when we renew our lease, you get a $300 bonus. So that'll give me a lower rent for the month of June. And then what that'll allow me to do is it'll allow me to put away $450 a check to pay the rent every month. And then I'll have a lot more left over of my check to pay all the bills. But it's just getting to that point. And that right there, paying that electric bill kind of helps me really get to that point. Because that's the only thing right now besides the internet that I'm really kind of behind on. And the internet, like I said, it's working just fine without AT&T having me quote unquote turned on. And that bill's not that huge, so I can probably take care of that out of my next check. Hank, when I put you up here, I didn't mean for you to come and sit right in front of me like this. But I have, Nana. I need to get this place cleaned up a lot before I would even think about trying to bring a roommate in to show him this place. because of the situation I've been in financially, I haven't really been able to buy a lot of cat litter and stuff. So I've been letting the boxes go a lot longer than I should go. Probably kind of why Hank is probably peeing in my carpet from time to time. But I get take care of that because I've got a little extra of writing, a little bit extra coming up. So I'll be able to take care of that and buy some more litter and get his box situated. You sneezing? Hmm? That and I've just been in a funk and with everything that's been going on, so I haven't really been. I've been kind of neglecting the housework. That and I come home from work and I mean to do the housework and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down for a few minutes and unwind, and then I fall asleep until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, she's already. I've got the renewal paperwork right here already. I called her Friday. I called her Friday and I said, "How many more payments do I have of this 650?" She goes, "I think you finished in May." She goes, "And then when you renew," she goes, "If you are you still planning on renewing?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, so when you renew, then you'll get a $300 credit for June's rent." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Um, she goes, "I'll draw up the renewal paperwork and have it hanging on your door when you get home." And sure enough, there it was. Yes, I have food sharing. I value shop. Plus, I have a Sam's Club membership, and the Piggly Wiggly is right up the street. And they have this, like the local Piggly Wiggly has their own like rewards program, their own rewards app, and they've always got stuff on sale for rewards members. Like, um, I went in one day and they had this is so funny because the last check, I actually for like the last week of the last check, that's all I ate. But they had family packs of hot dogs, the 24 pack of hot dogs on sale for 99 cents each if you bought two. So I paid $2 and I got 48 hot dogs. So for a week of my last check, the last week of my last check, I ate nothing but hot dogs. I can firmly tell you that I have figured out every way in the world there is to prepare hot dogs and make them palatable. I had some frozen vegetables in the refrigerator in the freezer, and so I took them out and I steamed them in the bag like it said, and I boiled up, I don't know, 6 or 7 hot dogs, and I cut them up into little chunks and boiled them, and I dumped them in with the frozen vegetables that I had just heated up, and I put some minced garlic in there and some Italian seasoning and some butter, and I mixed it all up. Talk about a good food. Oh, it was amazing. That was amazing. I got to remember, I didn't even know that place existed, but that's kind of a little ways out of town. We do have Los Tarascos here in town, and they are really, really good Mexican food too. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, like I said, Nana, Los Tarascos, for about the same price, has huge portions of food, and it's really, really good. Um, there's one in Northport, and there's one down on Skyland. My When I was started with the company, um, your first week there, or your first day especially, the boss is supposed to take you to lunch on the company's dime, and they took me to Los Tarascos that day, and my God, it was like, oh, so good. Karma does come around, Sherry. I firmly believe that. Oh wow, a Whataburger and a Starbucks. Ooh, they're supposed to be putting a Whataburger in on the strip here in Tuscaloosa, but that was like 2 years ago is when they announced it. But I've never seen any kind of uh, movement towards actually building it. And where they're going to build a Starbucks on the strip is beyond, or not a Starbucks, but a Whataburger on the strip is beyond me. I think it's going to go in that end building right by Publix that's used to be called Muya. I think they're going to put it in that storefront. It's just going to be a small little Whataburger. They put a Taco Bell up on the strip right across the street from Publix. It's just like a little hole in the wall Taco Bell. Of course, the students love it because it's right beside the club. So when they go to um, oh, what's it called? Right there across from the strip, the club they all go to. I can't remember the name of it. But when they all go to that club, they go out the door, and Taco Bell is right there next to them when they come out the door. So it's like whoever decided to put a Taco Bell there was damn genius. Yeah, Jasper is just like it's really like lost a lot over the years. I remember watching that. Was it on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon? I can't remember which, but I watched a documentary thing about the Jasper Mall, and that was like eye opening. That poor janitor slash security guard guy felt so bad for him. It's like he's out there doing his job, and there's really no job to do. He just keeps doing stuff he doesn't need to just to stay busy. But it's really funny because when I watched that, I remember watching it, and I was like, the first time we came up there to meet y'all, we went to the Jasper Mall and ate in that restaurant right there inside the door. And when I saw the mall on there and it was a documentary about it, I was like, I've been there. I ate right there. Yeah, Garfield. Yep, that's it. Because I think that was the first time we came up there and met y'all, and then we ended up. Dawn Marie met us there, and we all went there, and then we went to Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I can't remember which is up there. Yep. All right, Bev. Thanks for coming in. It is getting close to that time. Oh, it's after that time. Damn, I'm late tonight. That's why Hank's being so pestery. It is actually time for me to sign off of here. It was 15 minutes ago. But yep. Oh, Sherry, thank you so very much. You have nothing but good things coming your way. That was just so super kind of you. Um, I just don't know what to say there. Thank you. Um, I will see you all again next Saturday night or next Saturday afternoon at noon Central. I will be going live. I'm going to be kitting up a diamond painting and hoping to finish it by the end of the 24-hour live. So I will see you all then. Hank says good night. No, he doesn't. He looks at me. He's like, no, I don't say good night. I say, give me food. And I will see you all again next weekend. Until then, rock on, y'all. Roll Tide.